God alone is glorious. Wow. Thank you. Please pray with me. Your word is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. Let these words, let our prayers and meditations and our actions proclaim your word. Amen. Finance, food, fuel, water shortage, resource scarcity, climate chaos, mass poverty, mass migration, fundamentalism, terrorism, financial oligarchies. We have entered an age of disruption. Yet the possibility of profound societal and global renewal has never been more real. Now is our time. Our moment of disruption deals with death and rebirth. What's dying is an old civilization and a mindset of maximum me. Maximum material consumption, bigger is better, and special interest group driven decision making that has led us into a state of organized irresponsibility, collectively creating results that no one wants. What's being born is less clear, but no way less significant. It's something we can feel in many places across planet Earth. This future is not just about firefighting and tinkering with surface structural change. It's not just about replacing one mindset that no longer serves with another. It's a future that we can sense, feel, and actualize by shifting the inner place from which we operate. It's a future that in these moments of disruption begins to present itself through us. These are the opening words to a book called Leading from the Emerging Future by Otto Scharmer and Katrin Kafer. Their description of this age of disruption was the backdrop against which the 42nd General Council of the United Church of Canada did its work. At the most recent meeting of Vancouver Burrard Presbytery, at which former moderator Gary Patterson and VST's Director of United Church Formation, Janet Geer, led us through some of the key decisions affecting the church. Janet created the picture of three great divides that dominate this age of disruption. She drew the horizon of all those words that I opened with. She drew a horizon. And then she drew the disruptions or the great divides like mountains. And the first mountain, the first divide, is the unrestrained me. There's a profound personal egoic consciousness in our world today that has led to an unrestrained sense of entitlement in the West particularly, leading to unbridled consumerism. The rise of the unfulfilled ego has led to all kinds of isms, fundamentalism, consumerism, terrorisms in all philosophical, religious, and political spheres. All. Bill Phipps has called it the tyranny of the one right way. Scharmer and Kafer remind us that 2.5 billion people on the planet live on less than $2 US a day. The second mountain, or the second divide in the horizon that dominates our lives in this age of disruption, is climate change. And I know this is not a topic around which we have common agreement. All we need to do is look at this current election to know that we see things differently. If we believe, however, Scharmer and Kafer's research, we are depleting and degrading our natural resources on a massive scale. They contend, although we have only one planet Earth, we are leaving an ecological footprint of 1.5 planets. That is, we are currently using 50% more resources than our planet can regenerate to meet our current consumption needs. The third divide, the third mountain in this age of disruption that dominated the work of the General Council, is the spiritual cultural divide. These other two divides leave us disconnected from ourselves and the future we might imagine. We're disconnected from ourselves and all those things that bring us joy and beauty and purpose. Scharmer and Kafer quote the World Health Organization that reported in the year 2000 more than twice as many people died of suicide than as died in wars. Can you imagine gathering with good United Church folk people, anticipating your trip to Corner Brook, Newfoundland, on the rock, imagining the people that you would meet, only to be confronted with this backdrop, this worldwide backdrop? The meeting started. This is our backdrop, the horizon toward which we will direct our work. I can imagine you in your homes this morning as you prepared to gather with your friends here. You imagine what it would do, the friends you'd meet and the people that you would see and the love that you share, only to be met by this very same backdrop, much with which we may not even agree. It's equally jarring, isn't it? Gary Patterson reported that it was the quality of the daily worship experiences in Corner Brook that ground the General Council in the God of hope that made it possible for this gathered community to do its work. Rather than sneak away to a quiet place and bask in the spa that he might encounter in a quiet place, Jesus is confronted by 5,000 people. And he looked upon the crowd, and according to Eugene Peterson's version of this story, his heart was broken. When the disciples said to Jesus, "These people are hungry," Jesus said right back, "You feed them." And all were fed with real food, good food, food that nourishes the body, and there were 12 baskets of leftovers. We had a lively conversation yesterday at Waves. I invite you to come, because we have lots of lively conversations. And the lively conversation started with the wondering of how the people in the downtown east side might hear this story. Indeed, how would those living in the downtown east side or in the dumps of Puerto Vallarta hear this text that all were fed? I can't answer that question. It's conjecture on our part. It's actually North American privilege that would even conjecture or try to make a statement of it. I have no idea how it would be heard. I wondered about hope. The question is, how do we hear this text this morning, only 15 blocks away? 19. Okay, maybe 20. How does the living Christ's message, you feed them, land on us this morning? Against this horizon, dominated by these three great mountains, the egoic me, climate change, and spiritual decline, how do we hear Christ's call to feed them so that all are fed? So that there are 12 baskets of leftovers. I wonder if there's a storm brewing for you this morning as you hear this. There was a storm brewing for the disciples because they didn't get the bread and the 2 fish and how 5,000 were fed. I wonder if there's a storm brewing within you. I wonder if it's a storm that threatens to overwhelm you. I wonder if this storm brews within you as you hear Christ's summons, you feed them. I find it overwhelming. I'm not sure what's going on for you. I find it overwhelming. It's like, right? This age of disruption dominated by 3 great divides and a message, you feed them. I don't know what's going on for you, but I want to hide away. I want to stick my head in the sand. I want to disbelieve the analysis. It's all too much, right? Let's hear Jesus' words again. They come to us, grace-filled. Take heart. I'm with you. Do not be afraid. We're in this storm, my friends. This is our backdrop. This is the storm we're in. Jesus has called us in this season of creation to wonder about food, and we hear, you feed them. And it seems insurmountable. But you know what I believe to be true is that we will. We will feed them. We will respond as faithful followers of the Christ who gives us life. But for today, our only task is to prepare to feed them. I invite you to notice again, the disciples were in the boat together on the storm. We are not alone. The egoic me, that egoic me gives way to a collective, collaborative we. Must be. Must be. And then now simply breathe in his words. By invitation, he calls us right now in this storm that we find ourselves in and says what? Take heart. That's the word courage. Courage. Take heart. I'm with you. Don't be afraid. This is what makes him the living Christ. Those words come to us now. For this, thanks be to God. Please pray with me. Breathe in a deep breath. That backdrop, this age of disruption, these great divides are here. And breathe in, I am with you. Take heart. Do not be afraid. Breathe in the words of the living Christ as we see this backdrop, as we face this backdrop together as this community of his followers. Oh God, we give you thanks that we have this. It is by your grace that we find ourselves here. We give you thanks in Jesus' name.